Most people don't realize that many of the health decisions shaping their future are made quietly, every single day, without much thought at all. Not in hospitals. Not during emergencies. But in small, ordinary moments that seem harmless at the time. What we eat. How we move. What we ignore. And what we never learned to question. Today, we're going to talk about why health education matters more than ever. Not just in schools or medical settings, but in everyday life. We'll explore how understanding health changes the way we make decisions, how it shapes long-term outcomes, and why information, not fear, is the most powerful tool we have for staying well in a modern world. This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness, and what awareness makes possible. We live in a time where health information is everywhere. Search engines, social media, podcasts, news headlines. Advice is constant. And yet, confusion has never been higher. People hear conflicting messages about diet, exercise, sleep, supplements, and disease prevention. One day something is good, the next day it's dangerous. Without proper health education, information becomes noise. Health education isn't just about facts. It's about context. It teaches people how to ask better questions, how to evaluate sources, how to understand cause and effect instead of reacting to headlines. Without that foundation, many decisions are driven by fear, trends, or misinformation, not understanding. And when health decisions are reactive rather than informed, the long-term consequences quietly accumulate. So what does this mean in real life? Health education influences the small decisions that rarely feel important in the moment. Choosing when to rest instead of pushing through exhaustion. Recognizing early signs of stress before burnout happens. Understanding how sugar, sleep, or inactivity affect energy and mood, not just weight. When people understand how the body works, they begin to see patterns. They notice how poor sleep affects focus, how chronic stress changes appetite, how movement improves mental clarity, not just physical fitness. This awareness creates a shift. Health stops being something you deal with later, and starts becoming something you manage daily. Not perfectly, but intentionally. One of the biggest challenges globally is low health literacy. The inability to understand basic health information well enough to make informed decisions. This doesn't only affect individuals. It affects families, healthcare systems, entire economies. When people don't understand prevention, minor issues become chronic problems. When symptoms are ignored or misunderstood, conditions worsen before care is sought. When misinformation spreads faster than education, fear replaces clarity. Healthcare becomes reactive instead of preventive. Health education shifts the focus upstream, from treating illness to understanding how it develops in the first place. And that shift changes outcomes dramatically. Modern life places unique stress on the human body. Sedentary work, constant screen exposure, ultra-processed food, chronic psychological stress. Our biology hasn't changed as fast as our environment has. Health education helps bridge that gap. It explains why modern habits strain systems designed for a very different lifestyle. It gives people language to understand fatigue, stress, and imbalance, without immediately labeling everything as a disease. This understanding reduces anxiety. It replaces self-blame with curiosity. And it empowers people to adjust their habits before problems escalate. Perhaps the most important role of health education is its effect on long-term quality of life. Longevity isn't just about adding years. It's about preserving strength, independence, clarity, and resilience. People who understand health earlier tend to make adjustments gradually, rather than being forced into drastic changes later. They see health as a process, not a crisis response. And over decades, those small, informed decisions compound, just like interest. The result isn't perfection. It's sustainability. So how can health education show up in everyday life? Here are a few simple ways. First, treat health information as something to understand, not blindly follow. Ask why, not just what. Second, notice patterns in your own body. Energy, mood, sleep, focus. They're all signals, not inconveniences. Third, prioritize learning over quick fixes. Sustainable health comes from clarity, not shortcuts. Fourth, remember that prevention isn't dramatic. It's often quiet, consistent, and invisible, until it matters. And finally, share accurate health knowledge responsibly. Education multiplies when it's shared thoughtfully. Health is rarely about radical transformation. It's about understanding and making slightly better choices again and again. In a world full of information, health education gives us something more valuable than answers. It gives us perspective. And when people understand their bodies, their minds, and the long-term effects of their habits, health stops being something we chase and becomes something we build one day at a time.